Today, on an all-new episode of The Good Stuff.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah!
Andrea Buckett takes a page right out of her brand new cookbook with 3 ways to feed a crowd and quench their thirst.
Oh yeah. Come on, right?
Then,
believe it or not, this is called a dibbler, which is a very fun dibbler.
A dibbler?
Yes.
from Owen Reeves' new garden gadgets to keeping pets safe this spring. We are so ready to get ready for the great outdoors. And you know her from True Detective and The Grizzlies.
Let's break it to you, but you're not down south anymore, Toto.
Now, Anna Lambe opens up about her rave review comedy series, North of North.
I read the script and I was like,
Plus, I'm building a beautiful spring supper with bacon and peas and gnocchi. Oh my.
To start off in the kitchen, and I'm going to brighten up a comforting classic today. Now, I've got the perfect spring pasta for you. This is my bacon and pea gnocchi. It's going to be tasty. My kind of like rationale when it came to writing this recipe, the team was like, ooh, let's do like a spring pasta. And in my mind, I'm like, yes, we want bright, we want tasty, we want green, but still some spring days are a little chilly. So we also want like potatoes and hearty and delicious. So this is the perfect mix of those two things. And if I'm gonna be making a good hearty pasta, the first thing I like to start with is usually a little bit of bacon to give it some flavor. So I've got about 4 to 6 slices of bacon here that I've just diced up. I've chopped it up before. You could also cook the bacon whole and then dice it later. Honestly, whatever you'd like. And whenever I'm cooking bacon, I like to start it in a cold pan or in a cold oven if I'm doing it that way. So I've got this pan here. It's off the heat, totally cold. I'm gonna add my bacon right on into there. Just give it a little bit of a spread out. And then I wanna pop that bacon over medium heat. Now, by doing this, starting it in a cold pan and then bringing the heat up, what's gonna happen is all that fat is gonna like render and sizzle out, and then the bacon's gonna crisp up. You know when you're cooking bacon and you crisp it too hard and then it still is flabby but also burnt? That's not what we want. Basically what we've done there is locked the fat in. We want it to render out, gives you more of that bacon fat to cook with later. It's gonna be delicious. So while that bacon gets to cooking for about 5 to 7 minutes, I'm gonna cook up my gnocchi. So I've got a big pot of boiling water here and I'm gonna add in a good amount of salt. Gnocchi cooks really, really quickly, so you wanna season the water well, because that salt water isn't gonna get too far into that gnocchi, but you do wanna season it up so it gives good flavor. Now, I'm gonna add my gnocchi into that boiling water. Now, anytime you buy gnocchi at the grocery store, they come in a bag, obviously. They say this bag serves 4 people. I don't know what 4 people are eating this amount of gnocchi, so I'm gonna say go for 2 bags. You want about 500 grams of that gnocchi. I'm gonna add that on into my water, and then cook it for whatever the package says. So this one needs 5 to 7 minutes. We're gonna let it do its thing. Honestly, that's one of my favorite things. I do like making homemade gnocchi every once in a while. It's really, really tasty. It's fun to make, but it is a bit of an event. So buying the store-bought stuff, super easy. They're chewy, they're beautiful little potato dumplings, and it's gonna be a total dream. That bacon is starting to sizzle. At this point, we'd obviously wanna cook this all the way. So I'm just gonna do a fancy TV swap right here, because we've got some bacon already cooked right there. You're seeing all the secrets. All right. All right, now we've got that bacon crisped up. It's looking absolutely beautiful. So I just want to remove that from the pan. And you see all of that beautiful bacon fat that's been left behind? That is basically free flavor. I paid for it, so now I've got extra kind of fat to cook in. You can honestly, did anybody have the like apple juice can that they put their bacon fat in? Remember that? Or the can, and you'd store it in the fridge? Listen, I'm just gonna cook with this right away because I don't wanna throw it out, but honestly, keep it aside, pop it in your fridge, and you can use it for cooking up chicken or anything like that later. But as we are wont to do in the spring, when it's maybe a little bit of a chilly day, got that beautiful bacon fat, why not add some butter to it? This is a good recipe, guys. I'm really pumped about it. We only need about a 1/4 cup of butter, so I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup right on into that pan. It's about half a stick. Listen, You know this is gonna be good. It's gonna be tasty. So I'm just gonna let that butter melt down, and then we're gonna go in with a vegetable, don't worry. So we're gonna use peas, just frozen peas. These peas were picked at the peak of their ripeness last spring, so they're still spring peas. They just might be last year's spring peas. But I'm gonna add about a cup of those right on into the pan. I'm going kind of for a hefty cup because I want a little bit more of that poppy green. It'll be absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna give that a mix together. And you just want that to cook down until that butter melts and those peas are nice and bright and green and tender. That should only take about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm gonna give it a bit of a season with some salt and pepper though, just to give a little bit more flavor. And we are feeling good. So while those peas do their thing, I'm gonna get to work on prepping the rest of the ingredients that are going into this sauce. This is a super quick to put together recipe, really, really tasty. And to be honest, if I was doing this at home, I would just grate and pop everything right into that pan when it was time. But I'm not just gonna stand here waiting for that to be done, so I'm gonna get a little ahead. So I've got 2 cloves of garlic here, a ginormous clove and a normal. And I'm just gonna rasp those up onto my cutting board. You could also mince them. You could use a garlic crusher if that's something you like to do. I had a lady one time ask me the question. She was like, no one uses the garlic press anymore. Is it bad? It's not bad. Some people just don't like it. To be honest, I can't be bothered to clean it. That's my main thing. So that's why I don't use a garlic press. But if you like a garlic press, feel free. That'll be perfect. I personally like a rasp because you just rasp it, tap it, and you got all that beautiful garlic right down on your board. Looking beautiful. Now, in addition to this garlic, I'm also gonna add in some lemon, because one of my favorite things about the springtime is that it's kind of the beginnings of farmers markets and fresh produce kind of butt up against the end of citrus season. So citrus is still in season. It's bright and delicious. So I need about the zest of half of a lemon. I'm just gonna go straight on into a bowl. And you just want to get that yellow part. Try not to get any of the white. The white is bitter. It will cook off a little bit, so if you do get some, it's not going to be the end of the world. But the yellow stuff is the max kind of bright, fresh, sunshiny flavor. Then I'm also going to add in the juice of half of that lemon. If you're trying to avoid seeds, if you cut the cheek off the lemon kind of like this, usually you avoid those seeds in the middle, so that makes squeezing them way easier. So pop that on in. Thank you. Someone in the audience said smart. This is nice. It's really nice cooking here because I can hear people. All right, now I'm gonna add that garlic right on into the mix as well. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm gonna add this on into those beautiful peas. They're starting to cook up. That little bit of the frost from the freezer is cooked off. Like, come on. I put that in a bowl, everyone's gonna be happy. I'm gonna pop in that garlic, that lemon zest, and that lemon juice. And you just wanna cook that down just for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, just to cook off that raw garlic flavor. That's gonna cook up absolutely beautifully. The peas are gonna get even more bright and green, but you can also see, because that lemon juice is in there, the butter's kind of emulsifying together, so it's getting a little thicker, which is exactly what we're looking for. All right, while that comes together, those gnocchi are almost done. I'm just gonna chop up a little bit of some parsley. Now, in here, you could also do chives, that would be beautiful. You could do tarragon, that might be nice, but I always have parsley on hand, so anything green. If you wanted to as well, you could always throw in a little bit of fresh spinach, any sort of leafy green, just for a bit more flavor. But I'm gonna pop that parsley right on into the pan. There we go. Give that a bit of a stir. And then we are gonna go in with our gnocchi. So that's been cooking for about 5 minutes. And basically, my rule when I'm cooking any sort of dumpling is wait for it to float to the surface, but then add 1 minute. A lot of times people will tell you once they're floating, they're good. I sometimes find they're a little undercooked. So once they float, good to go. Add a minute. Oops, I overcooked some of them. Guys, this is a good day. This is a good day. We're going in. All right. Pop that on into the beautiful bacon. We've got all of that flavor, those peas. It's gonna be beautiful. If you've overcooked your gnocchi like me, I'm not gonna lie, all that's gonna do is thicken your sauce. You got a bit of potato in your sauce. The wheels are falling off here on the good stuff, but it's still gonna be tasty. Add that bacon right on back in. And then you know what makes everything better, even if things start going wrong? A little bit of cheese. Little bit of delicious Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Add a little bit of that pasta cooking liquid just to bring everything together. Give that a nice stir. And do you see the creaminess happening in here? That beautiful cheese is melting in. This is almost like a springy mac and cheese with that bacon. To me, this looks like a complete dream. Absolutely delish, super homey, super tasty. All you need to do, pop it down on your table, maybe pop a little bit more fresh herbs right on top for that extra green color. Maybe a little extra lemon zest. and Bob is your uncle. Honestly, I'm pumped about this dish. You can make this tonight. It happens lickety-split, creamy, cheesy sauce. Okay, I'm gonna eat a hot potato gnocchi. We gotta take a break, but we'll be right back.
Tomorrow on an all-new episode of The Good Stuff. From pocket pizzas with the perfect cheese pull to that irresistible boxed mac and cheese, off-the-shelf hard taco shells, and that iconic freezer chocolate cake. You know the one. All show long, it's better than store-bought in the kitchen.
This lady literally just said in the front row, that's the good stuff. You know what's up.
The Good Stuff is all new tomorrow.
Just in time for all your outdoor get-togethers, my next guest has your hunger-crushing crowd-pleaser menu covered. Please welcome my good bud, Andrea Buckett! Andrea!
Hey, Berg.
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling like today might be an extra special day.
It is an extra special day. It is a day that's been 2.5 years in the making.
2.5 years in the making, and that is because your new cookbook, the Essential Cottage Cookbook, is finally out. Andrea, huge congratulations!
I'm very excited.
What an absolute stunning book.
Yeah.
Like it is, you just want to dive into every single recipe.
Well, I mean, the recipes are absolutely delicious, simple, easy. Like anyone can make them. You don't have to have a cottage, right?
Yeah.
But you don't. You really don't.
Yeah.
You can have a cottage time in your backyard.
Yeah.
But the images in here are breathtaking, and they just really pull together that feeling of like laid back summer days.
Yeah.
And I'm just so proud of it.
I am so proud of you. I cannot wait. It's such a beautiful book. Okay, so first up, what kind of inspired this book for you?
Well, I've been going to a cottage in Inglesby, Ontario, and Halliburton my whole life as a kid. My dad was going when he was 7 years old.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in my blood, and I just woke up one morning thinking, maybe a cottage cookbook. Yeah. And it just started pouring out of me, like the chapters and the recipe ideas. And when that happened, I knew that that was the book. The book sort of chose me.
Oh,
I say
that's
that.
so
You know what I
nice.
mean?
Oh my gosh.
The topic chose me, and it just sort of flew out of me, and yeah, just love it.
Amazing. Well, I'm really excited because today we're going to do some recipes from the For a Crowd chapter.
Yes.
So let's get into these. What are we starting off with?
So this is a Western sheet pan omelet.
Ooh.
Now this is an easy one because if you have a crowd of people and you want to, do breakfast for everybody, but everyone wakes up at different times, this is the one to do.
You don't want to be a short order cook making eggs for everybody.
You do not.
No.
Everyone sort of like wakes up at different times. I'm an early riser. I know you are, Mary.
Totally.
I like to grab my cup of coffee and head down to the dock and enjoy the sunrise.
Yeah.
My boys, not so much, right? So this is something that you can do and everyone can kind of serve themselves. So we're going to start out with a dozen eggs.
Okay.
Then we're going to go in with a cup of milk.
I love that.
Right, try not to get it all over our spring dresses
No,
here.
I was going to say, yeah. I love the fact also that we're getting this ready too, because sometimes the process of bringing the eggs to the cottage, they break.
Yes,
so you can get this
exactly.
done in advance,
Okay, so I'm going to get you to chop up some green peppers. So classically in a Western omelet, we know is peppers, we've got onions, and we've got some like black forest ham or some sort of protein. You could use bacon as well.
Love that.
Again, this is supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be things that you can grab that are accessible, that are seasonal. And then we're going to go ahead and what we've done is we've preheated the oven to 350 degrees.
Okay.
And we've sprayed a baking sheet with sides on it.
Okay.
So you can spray it or you can absolutely put some parchment paper in there.
Perfect.
To help, release the egg. So now this is, I'm going to give you the fun job because you're going to transfer it to the
I
other
was going to say.
I'm going to do this. So we're just going to sort of pour that egg mixture.
Oh, so you're just making one ginormo omelet.
One ginormous
Love
one.
that. I love that.
And then we're going to pepper it with all those peppers.
Okay.
Onions and ham.
Now, what type of onions are we using here?
We're just
Andrea?
using straight up white onions or cooking onions. Just make it look beautiful.
Now, would this work with, why a Western omelet?
This is kind of for my dad.
Nice.
I figure this is Larry Buckett's favorite type
Larry
of
Buckett,
omelet.
yes, what a name. Yeah.
The cookbooks in the recipe are sort of have a sense of nostalgia. So this is nostalgic for me. And to be honest, this is what I'll order when I go to a diner.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love that.
And last but not least, we'll go in with some black forest ham. And you can do half, and you can leave half for someone who might be vegetarian. We're going to just do half here.
Okay, fantastic.
Right? And then, Mary, you're going to get to take that to the oven.
Okay.
That sounds like fun.
Okay, well, I do this, Andrea.
Right? It's just going to be a minute.
Okay.
But that goes into 350 for like 15 to 20, 25 minutes, depending on your oven.
Oh, that's nice and quick.
Yeah, really quick because it's nice and a nice thin piece of egg, so it doesn't take long at all.
Do you know what I love about that too? I don't know about you, but my cottage does not have air conditioning. Your oven's not going to be on for a long time heating your place up.
Precisely. And
Oh
this
my gosh,
can
this
make
is so
like
good.
12 breakfast sandwiches, or you can do 6 breakfast sandwiches. You can put them
Look
out.
at that.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Come on.
Yeah.
Get out of here. So we'll just do a little sliceroo.
Exactly. I mean, that could be for 12 people. It could be for 3 or 4, depending on how much you eat.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, when I go to the cottage, it's like picky. So you just
Yeah.
pick and eat this all day long, and you are a
Totally.
happy camper.
Or cottager, as
Or
it were.
cottager,
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense
yeah.
too. All right, get that out
See,
of
it
there.
comes out really
Oh my
easily.
God, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Serve it up and you're good to go. All right, Andrea Buckett, we have got our breakfast ready to go, feeling delicious. What about something that's maybe a little lunchy or sherry?
So this is a pasta salad. It's a creamy tortellini and green salad, which I absolutely love, because everyone loves a pasta salad, but this is a little bit different because it has those stuffed tortellini. You can do cheese, you can do meat. For our dressing, we have in here, we have some mayo and some sour cream.
Okay.
I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna pass this to you, Mary, because I'm gonna
perfect.
get you, the green part of it is kale, snap peas, green onions, and celery. So there's lots of green going on.
Like anything green you have in
Like
the fridge?
anything green you've
Love
got in
that.
the fridge, right?
Yep.
We're gonna stir in a little bit of hot sauce because you know I love a little pop of flavors.
Me too.
Surprisingly, there's no mustard in here.
That's it, wild. Is this an Andrea Buckett
I
recipe?
know.
Oh my gosh.
But the hot sauce sort of brings that flavor. And then we're gonna go in with some lime juice. So instead of lemon, we're using lime.
Okay, tell me why, because I would go lemon.
Lemon. Lemon is the obvious choice,
Yeah.
but sometimes I like to be less obvious, you know?
do. Andrea
A
Buckett,
little
always
bit
keeping
lime.
it fresh. Always
You know,
keeping it fresh.
But it does have that citrus hit. It has a little bit more florality. And I just think it's sort of a fun addition here.
I think, can I tell you why I think you put lime in there?
Please do,
I
Mary.
think it's because you like a cocktail with lime, and that's what you have on hand at the cottage.
You might be on something.
All right, so chopping up some chives as well.
Chopping up some chives.
Okay, perfect.
I feel like, are we going to be able to get it all in this bowl?
You know what?
This is for a crowd, guys.
Yeah,
so.
this is where you bust out that bowl or that pot. Do you ever do that at the cottage where you get the pot that I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know that I used to have baths in as a baby?
It's like multi-purpose.
Yeah.
What we used to do at the cottage, actually, when it would rain, this is like maybe sharing too much.
Yeah.
But my mom would like put us out on the deck on our bathing suits, and we just like have a shower
in the rain.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the dream.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
All right, I'm gonna get you to throw in the kale and the chives.
Perfect.
You could do parsley as well.
Okay.
But this is a lot of salad here.
Okay, talk about, so as opposed to doing a classic pasta here, we're doing a cheese tortellini. I
Yes.
love that.
This is, I mean, it just adds a little bit more bite. It adds a little bit more chew, a little more substance, but you can just see how gorgeous this is.
Oh my gosh, that's stunning. The creaminess, and I love the mixture of the sour cream and...
Thanks, Mary.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Okay, my favorite part of this is the ones from the bottom of the bowl where it's the most saucy. Okay, let's give it a taste.
Or a little saucy, Mary.
I'm going in. We're always a little saucy in
Oops.
Buckett. Oopsie. Okay, here we go.
I feel like only one of us can taste. She's good, right?
The lime juice. The lime juice.
No.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right. Speaking of lime juice, I think we've worked really hard. I think it's time for a cocktail.
Cocktails are mucho important when you're having a laid-back day. So this is for those people who have been chopping wood, or maybe had a golf game, or laying on the hammock, whatever it might be. This
Listen,
is for
the laying on a hammock, reading a book with this next to Andrea Buckett, what an absolute delight. Let's give it a taste.
Oh yeah, come on, right? Oh,
Andrea Buckett, congrats and cheers to you on this amazing cookbook. And studio audience, just in case you're looking for some deliciousness, thanks to Andrea, you're all going home with a copy of the Essential Cottage Cookbook. Cheers, congratulations, friend. I'm so proud of you. It's gonna be a hit. We gotta take a break. We'll be right back. Owen Reeves is here with game-changing gardening gadgets that'll transform the way you plant, water, and grow. Hey, Owen. How's it going?
Great.
Good.
It's almost spring, right?
It's almost spring. We are getting there. It's almost a peak gardening season.
Yes.
It's your time. Okay, so let's get right into some gadgets
Yeah.
that are going to help make gardening maybe easier for people who aren't that great at it.
Hey, hopefully.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a gadget to make their life easier,
Totally.
right? So we're gonna start with the seeding square, and this is actually a really clever invention, available at Lee Valley.
It looks like a game.
It's a bit like a game,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so the idea with these is that it's going to help us to do a layout for our edible garden where we're planting seeds around this time of year.
Okay.
And so the idea is this is literally a square foot, exactly. And what they have done is they've got these color-coded holes that are spaced at the intervals where you need to drop your seeds in.
Okay.
So you sort of take this, press it in.
Okay.
To make the marking.
Yep.
And then we have this very handy little tool here that we can use to actually scoop the seeds out. A lot of seeds very, very small, hard to hang on to. And you can, this is, believe it or not, this is called a dibbler, which is a very fun dibbler.
A dibbler?
Yes. Very fun name.
This is my favorite thing I've ever seen in gardening.
It's just like a fancy name for like a hole poker.
Okay.
And so you just use this to make a little hole, and the gauge tells you how deep the hole is, because every type of seed has a specific depth that needs to be planted at.
Yeah.
So this takes the guesswork out of it, and then you just drop it in, and then you've got the next one here. And so for things like beets and carrots, where the spacing is important, if you put them too close together, you have to do a lot of thinning. They don't grow to the right size.
Yeah.
This takes the guesswork out. So you're not going to waste seed, and it's going to save you work down the line.
I love that.
And honestly, it's kind of fun. It looks like a game, right?
I know. Okay, that is a fun. A dibbler?
A dibbler.
Fantastic. That's my new favorite word for sure. All right, next up we are going to talk, I think a lot of people's least favorite thing, but I weirdly like it, weeding.
That's right. I do too. I'm with you.
It gets the like monkey part of my brain. I'm just like pulling and it's great. Yeah.
And it's satisfying, right, when you're done. So this is a tool that's been around for a very long time. It's called the Grandpa's Weeder.
Love it.
And the idea with this is that you have a tool that will pull the roots of the weeds out, which is a really important part. If you just get the top, it'll grow back. We need to get the roots out. And so for the lawn, whereas it can be a really tedious task, it allows you to, A, stand up. So we're not hands and knees, we're not bent over.
Love that.
And the idea is you kind of jab this into the ground. This is a step that you put your foot on, and it gives you leverage, and you basically use this to close the mechanism.
Cool.
And then we pull it all out of the ground. So it really helps with leverage, and for plants that have a taproot, and a lot of like dandelions that have a taproot,
Where it almost looks
really
like a
deep.
parsnip in your lawn.
Exactly right. It'll actually pull that whole thing out, and you don't have to bend over. So you can drop it right in your compost bin right there, put it in the yard waste bag. Easy, and anything, honestly, that'll help with the bending over part.
It's a win. 100%. I love that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, now what about if we're looking to kind of like maybe keep our gardening tools clean or maybe our fruits and veg clean?
Yeah, I love a multi-purpose thing. So these baskets are really, really handy. So yeah, if you had a bunch of your tools that you needed to take out with you to the garden, the worst thing to do is drop them on the ground.
Yes.
Because you'll forget them, and then you'll find it 2 weeks later and it's all rusted and a mess. So having this to help keep those organized is really handy. The other thing this is amazing for is harvesting. So when the time comes and we've got all of our carrots and our beets and we're ready to pull them out of the ground, obviously they're very dirty.
Yes.
And we want to rinse them off before we bring them inside. So you can harvest right into this, pull everything out of the ground, and then you can hose everything off inside the basket.
Cool. Yeah.
So then it just rinses right through, the dirt doesn't get trapped.
You're not lugging all that dirt inside.
Exactly. So it makes that job easier. The other thing this is really handy for is for onions and garlic where we need to cure them after, they need to dry out a bit. Perfect.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, what about, okay, so I feel like it's summertime, we all love gardening, but we also like taking little maybe weekend trips.
Yeah.
Then you come home and all of your plants are dead.
Yeah, exactly. Every container is just wilted right down. Yeah. So this is a tool also from Lee Valley that is going to make that a lot easier. So it's the adjustable spike, so it has a little dial here that it controls how much water actually comes out.
Okay.
And you can put any size plastic water bottle on top up to 2 liters.
Oh, wow.
So you could actually get quite a lot of water. Then we just put this into the soil in our pot, and it just drips slowly down into the soil. And it'll actually, the soil works like a sponge, so it'll actually pull water out of the container as it dries out.
Cool.
Just a really simple, smart device that you're gonna get years of use out of.
I love that. It's also really handy if maybe you're in a bit of a fight with your neighbor. You call your neighbor and you're like, hey, can you water my stuff? Maybe you don't have that type of neighbor.
That's right.
Yeah, now you got it.
Or the worst is if they overwater and then
Okay, speaking of overwatering, this is a big thing. How do we make sure we are like watering our plants the right amount?
Yes, and so overwatering is almost maybe as common as underwatering. So finding the right balance. A rain gauge is really, really helpful. And this is a Wi-Fi rain gauge. So it actually has an app on your phone that'll tell you, it'll record how much rain fell into this. So where this is gonna be really helpful is watering the lawn. I find people, especially if you have an irrigation system, almost always overwater. You don't need to water as much as you think you do. And so if you know how much rain fell, you can really optimize that. And of course, you're paying for the water too.
Yeah.
So you're literally just throwing money away when nature's doing some of the work for you. But tracking that rainfall is not super easy. Really handy device to help with that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, and then moving on, we've gone like extra sciencey. I feel like this looks like we're a meteorologist.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and so this is actually it is a weather gauge.
Oh, cool.
So from Canadian Tire, this measures not only the temperature, which is really handy, also the wind speed and the humidity. And when it comes to gardening, one of the things that this does that's super handy is it records the maximum and minimum temperature over the course of a day. So when we're in either the spring or the fall, it's really important to know how cold it gets at night.
Yeah.
So that way we can know if we have those tender plants, we either need to bring them in or take them out. That recording of the minimum temperature is super, super handy. And it has like a 300-foot range, so you could put this way far away.
Yeah.
And the gauge will still be readable inside. So a really handy little tool if you really want to get into the science of your garden.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
We're going very sciencey, and we are going back to basics over here with a solid cart.
Oh,
yeah.
listen.
I love a cart.
And so this is a tool for you. So from Yardworks, this is actually it looks like something that's not a little bit of a toy, you know?
It's like a wagon.
This is super robust, actually.
Yeah.
This will hold 600 pounds of
Wow.
weight. So it literally replaces a wheelbarrow. And what you don't have to worry about with this that you do with a wheelbarrow is the balance, right? Because you know, if you have something heavy in the wheelbarrow and you sort of get into a little bit of a slope, no, this will work really well for hauling bags of soil around or gravel or your children.
Yeah.
And the other really handy thing about this is that it has this little release lever and you can actually
dump it.
Right.
Owen, that was a thrill. Oh my gosh, Owen, thank you so much. This was so informative. Absolutely fantastic. Great job as always. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Here with tips to keep our pets safe and happy this spring is the one and only Dr. Cliff. Hey, Dr. Cliff. How's it going?
Beautiful. Happy spring.
Happy spring. We are getting there. Now,
Love it.
as the weather starts to warm up, obviously our pets are spending a bit more time outdoors. And there's a few things that you want us to keep kind of our eye on.
Yes.
Yes. Starting off with airborne allergies.
They start to get itchy.
Yeah. See, I did not know. For some reason, maybe it's because they don't sneeze or do the normal allergy stuff that we do.
Yeah, and that's right. They don't have the normal sinus, drippy eyes, that sort of thing. They get skin issues.
Oh,
so they
okay.
breathe in the pollens or dust or molds or ragweed or whatever it is, flowers, and it creates this chemical reaction and their feet get itchy, underarms, belly, basically the lower half.
Oh.
And it gets so itchy that they get secondary bacterial and yeast infections on their skin.
Yeah.
So the things that we can do, that's what we're trying to avoid. Obviously, reduce the itchiness and reduce those secondary sort of problems, those complications.
Okay, so what do you
the
suggest?
first thing is omega fatty acids.
Oh, okay.
So fish oils, basically, omega-3s and omega-6s. And it will replace the oils that are being damaged from the scratching. It's going to avoid those bacterial and fungal infections. And I recommend that animals be on it year-round because it also helps with heart disease, reduces cancer risk, arthritis, helps with the kidneys. It's the cure-all.
Oh,
so
that's
you won't have to
fantastic.
come to the vet if you give your dog this.
Well,
Which is
maybe.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. And then another thing that's very, very simple is wipe their paws.
Oh, okay.
And try not to use baby wipes or human skin wipes. We sweat, so I sweat, so I need to wipe that off. And the dogs don't do that, cats don't do that, so you can actually harm their skin. But you do want to wipe off their feet, again, to avoid those bacterial infections. I have a couple of these in my glove compartment anytime I'm at the gym and I'm a little bit,
So you use the dog wipes?
I do. I like the lavender smelling one.
Oh,
The best.
okay.
Yes,
I like, very nice,
I like the
fancy.
lavender.
Yeah.
And then talking about smelling nice,
Yeah.
simple shampoos. Over-the-counter shampoos, oatmeal-based. I literally tell my clients, just pick one that smells nice. This one's coconut smelling. It's wonderful. And that's going to avoid, again, those secondary infections.
Okay, that's really cool. So simple ways to do that. Now, we're getting into the season of fleas and ticks. Let's talk about those, because
Yeah, fleas and ticks. And fleas, you know, they not only do they bite, but they actually can cause anemia. Fleas are the #1 reason cats get tapeworms.
Really?
Yeah, they eat the fleas and it gives them tapeworms.
Really?
Yeah, so it's real. People never realize.
Whoa.
So if we see a cat with tapeworms, we're like, your cat probably has fleas as well.
Oh my gosh.
And then ticks, of course, cause Lyme disease. So there's this life cycle where they can be really, really small or really, really big. There's a great photo there. They can be as small as a flax seed or as big as like a pumpkin seed.
Oh, wow.
But the trick is knowing how to find them and knowing how to remove them.
Okay, so we're gonna see this. We got a little dog model. Dr.
got-
Cliff's own Bo. Come on
This
out.
is Bo.
Hi,
Now, Bo.
Bo. Hi,
Bo is a rescue from Apex, which is the community beside Iqaluit,
Okay.
which is where Anna filmed North for North.
Yes! See, we've got
I
a connection.
volunteer there,
Connection.
right down the street from where she films.
Bo and I are best friends.
The things with
Yeah.
ticks is ticks will go after their ears, their necks, their paws, and I mean, this guy's part polar bear, so you gotta really get into the fur, and you have this fancy thing that you pick up at the vet clinic that goes under the tick and you twist.
Okay.
But I'm gonna save everyone $10
Okay.
and just use a Q-tip.
Oh,
So
okay.
you moisten the tip. You
Yeah.
either stick it in under the tap or I stick it in my ear. And then you find the tick
Okay.
and you literally circle, counterclockwise, clockwise, doesn't matter. And you do it like 60 times.
Okay.
And the tick slowly spins.
Gets dizzy.
And pops off.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
gets dizzy and pops off. And then you can bring the tick to the veterinarian.
Got it.
And we're going to make sure the tick's okay.
Yeah.
And treat it properly.
Yeah.
And also identify if it might actually have Lyme disease.
Lyme disease. So always bring your dog after you find a
Please.
tick. Okay,
Yes.
fantastic. Bo, you did
Goodbye,
great.
Bo.
Bye, Bo. Bo, bye. Bo is so long.
She's so cute.
Bo doesn't want to leave.
She's so cute.
All right, now next up, I'm obsessed with Bo. Next up, we're going to talk about toxic plants because this is a big
Yeah.
one this time of year for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Lilies, daffodils, azaleas, tulips, especially the bulbs for tulips, so they'll dig. Pretty much all of these plants cause like gastrointestinal issues, but some of them will also cause like seizures.
Oh, wow.
The bluebell, it's so beautiful, it makes your heart flutter. It actually gives you a heart arrhythmia.
Oh, really?
If you eat it or if animals eat it. And some of these, the symptoms will show up as quick as 15 minutes.
Wow.
So I say if you got cats or dogs, don't even plant these.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
She loves these.
Yeah.
I don't even plant them. I stick with vegetables and
Yeah.
I use that little dibbler thing that.
Yeah, that Owen had. I love
That's
it.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So yeah, stay away from some of these plants, and there's quite a long list. So do a little Google search and stay away from them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. That's really, really good to know. Now, what about maybe we do have a garden, we don't have these plants in it, but things like pesticides and herbicides.
Yeah, and some things that are sprayed on the grasses can make your animals sick.
Yeah.
So speak with your landscaper. So it depends upon the community that you live in. Slug baits and snail. Everyone loves snails.
I love a
leave
snail.
them alone.
Yeah.
'Cause the problem is the
Let 'em run free.
The poisons for the slug baits, they have a chemical called metaldehyde.
Okay.
Which sounds like a heavy metal band.
It does.
And it causes this condition called shake and bake,
Oh, okay.
which basically seizures and incredibly high body temperatures, which can be fatal. And then ant traps.
Oh.
Ant traps are very dangerous. They have this chemical that is a acetylcholinesterase inhibitor,
Okay.
which basically damages neurotransmitters. And they have this condition we call SLUD.
Okay.
S-L-U-D, salivation, lacrimation, urination, defecation.
Okay.
So they cry, they drool, they pee, they poop.
Okay.
It's like a toddler that's teething.
Okay.
And it causes their heart rate to crash. So all these things are very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Keep them away
Okay.
or don't even use them. And then cocoa mulch, people use that. It smells great. It's great for your plants.
But obviously the cocoa.
Yeah, it's
the
got chocolate, so
Yeah.
not good for your pets.
Okay, right on. Now, last but not least, humans.
Yeah.
We can be a bit of an ish too.
Yeah. So we got to watch what we're doing when we're barbecuing. The chicken bones are very, very dangerous for dogs. It can damage their intestinal system. But the biggest problem I see is when I have to do surgery on dogs that have swallowed corn cobs or watermelon rinds.
Oh.
They will sit in the stomach for months.
Really?
And then all of a sudden there's a problem and I got to go in and do surgery. So make sure when you're done with this, you don't feed them to the dog. get them into a safe composter that they can't get at.
Okay, fantastic, Dr. Cliff. This is great. Now, you were always giving pet parents such great advice on how to keep their pets safe, but you also help rescue wild animals from around the globe, which is the subject of your documentary, Dr. Cliff, Worldwide Vet. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah. Thank you. There's the scene there. So this film comes out on TVO,
Nice.
May 17th. Both all around the world, or all around Canada, tvo.org, and it's about me and my daughter going to India during Diwali and rescuing animals, including me rappelling down into a well when a dog fell into a well, and I'm very proud of it. It's a very good film, and I hope everyone checks it out.
Huge congratulations, Dr. Cliff. Thanks so much for being here. Great job. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. That was great. That was awesome, man. Voice in Canadian television and beyond. From the Grizzlies to True Detective Night Country, Anna Lambe is back on our screens in the new comedy series, North of North. Check it out.
Then hire me.
Hire you?
As a program coordinator, I put together a list of grants and different opportunities.
I get really cold whenever I have to tell someone the truth about themselves. Yaya, you have a wonderful imagination, and you've been a perfectly adequate festival volunteer. But you have zero work experience and even less leadership skills.
But I see life and beauty everywhere, and
Where should I put these fish heads?
a deep freezer in the commissary.
All right, thank you.
Everyone, please welcome the one and only Anna Lambe. First off, very exciting. We met each other about a year ago.
Yeah.
Here on this show. What has time done? This is very exciting.
I mean, it kind of feels like a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, True Detective was coming out, and I was doing the press run for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, and there's another show coming. I promise it's coming.
Yeah.
It's gonna come eventually.
Totally.
And now it's here, and it's been such a wild kind of opportunity to be able to one, see it, and to get to celebrate it.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we were talking, when we were chatting about True Detective Season 4, you were talking about how there was this kind of comedy show that you were tied to. It didn't have a name yet. A year later, it is North of North, and it is absolutely taking over. It's absolutely beautiful. It's such a good show.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, what does it feel like to actually get to see it out in the world and the response that it's getting?
I mean, you know, there was a part of me that always knew that people would like the show. I read the scripts and I was like, lovable, it's great. You know, the comedy comes off the page. There's no way we could go wrong. So that was always like, it's gonna be fun. But the way that it's resonated with people and the way that people have not only liked it but loved it has been so humbling and so exciting.
Now, the last time you were here when we were chatting about your previous work in True Detective, in The Grizzlies, both really important, very heavy stories, you talked about how what you were really looking forward to, while those are really important stories to tell, what you really wanted to do was show also the joy in Indigenous life and that you're just people who can have romance and comedy and all of these things happen. And now you have that with North of North. Can you tell us a little bit, for anyone who hasn't seen it, first off, go watch it immediately. It's so good. Tell us a little bit more about the show.
Yeah, you know, so the show follows Yaya, who's a young mother who is really just like trying to figure herself out. And she blows up her life in front of the whole town and says, you know what, not only do I want better, I deserve better. And I'm going to chase whatever better looks like. And it really is like a second coming of age story. And, you know, I think kind of, you know, there's themes of like complicated family dynamics and messy marriages and the crushing weight of expectation from your community and trying to live up to what people want you to be or think you should be. And, you know, even though it's set in the North and it's so specific and it's about Inuit, which are a very specific group of people, the plot lines and the experiences are universal. And so I think people have been able to relate to it and fall in love with it and see themselves in it no matter where they come from. So it's just been, you know, being able to do that and have such like a universal story while also being that sort of representation of kind of having that like Indigenous rom-com, Inuk rom-com, you know, Inuk Bridgerton, like getting to do like that sort of thing was so exciting because it's like these are things that I never thought that I would really get to do.
Now, you were mentioning this show is proudly Canadian. You actually shot in a Iqaluit, which is absolutely amazing. Now, I got some stats here. You have 45 Canadian cast members, 500 local background actors, 300 Canadian crew members, all in a Iqaluit, which is absolutely amazing. And that's your hometown, right?
That's my hometown.
What was that like? Yeah.
You know, Iqaluit now is a place of about 8,000 people. So, you know, while we were filming, we were probably like 110, 120 crew members.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
Chunk. Yeah.
Plus adding all of the cast and everything.
Yeah.
People notice.
Yeah.
And so we definitely kind of took over a little bit in some ways. We definitely took over the hotels.
Yes.
Which was its own kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for us, it was kind of like welcoming people into our world and getting to watch people fall in love with the North and be open to how we live and understanding how we live, and then kind of getting to have that sort of, in a way, I guess, cultural exchange was really special and really important. And, you know, it just was so nice to have Iqaluit people from Iqaluit who were so deeply supportive of our show and wanted to do anything that they could to be involved and to help us out, because we needed it.
Yeah.
We needed their help.
I was gonna say, did you have any like aunts and uncles or family like knocking on the door, being like, "Hey, you need me? Background acting?"
There was so many times I like walked onto set and somebody would come out and be like,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, oh my God, hi.
It's like a reunion almost.
All the time.
Yeah.
You know, so many people I went to high school with, like former teachers.
Oh.
My best friend's mom came out of the crowd one day and I was like, Dawn!
Yeah. That is amazing. One thing that I think stood out for me, like as soon as you start watching this show, is the amazing fashion and makeup that you bring into this beautiful universe of this show. I understand that you actually designed the tattoos that you have for the show and got those drawn on every day.
Nope.
And also, can you tell me a little bit about the parka that you wear in the first episode?
Yeah, so the tattoos were designed. I, you know, got to play around with some different designs and what they mean to me, because Inuit tattoos, they have meanings, and it was important for me to really connect with Siaya and what her tattoos meant to her. And so there's a lot of meanings of family and community ties within her tattoos. And then, so that green parka, I think, was the one that was shown, was really interesting. So we needed multiples of that, because that's what I fall into the ocean with.
It gets wet.
It gets wet. And we needed to have one that was like the full thing, the full, you know, all the filling in it. But then we also needed one with all the filling pulled out of it, so I could fall into the water, because it was a great flotation device. Yeah. Like the big one, as soon as it filled up with air, I was kind of in the pool, like, you know, like face down.
And we need you to go under the water for that scene.
I know. They're like, Anna, just, can you dive a little bit deeper? And I'm like, guys, I'm trying.
Yeah, it's a life jacket.
It's pulling me up.
Yeah.
It's pulling me up. So we had so many versions of that.
Yeah.
But it was just like a really wonderful like collaboration of kind of like a contemporary parka, regular jacket that you can find anywhere, but with a really Inuk twist with the seal skin and the siniksak, which is like the bias tapes and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Like the pink bias and stuff that you see all over it.
Yeah.
So that one was really fun, but there were so many incredible parkas, and I was really happy I got to wear one of my mom's. Not that she made, but it's by this designer, Winifred Nungak, from northern Quebec. And my mom had gotten this parka from my dad for Christmas. And I, for so long, was going, oh my God, you know who that looks really good on? You know who that really suits?
Yeah, you're like, this is gonna go missing from you and end up on me.
And I wore it to a table read when we were reading episodes 1 and 2 of the script. And the showrunners, as I was getting ready to leave, they went, Anna, can we just take a picture? And when it came to filming the opening, they were like, could you bring your mom's parka back?
Is it now officially your parka, or is it still your mom's parka?
No, she very, very proudly lets everyone know that it's her parka.
Okay, fantastic. I love it. I love a mom's energy. Anna, thank you so much, and huge congratulations on North is North. I laughed, I cried. It was amazing. It was so nice. Thanks so much for being here. We gotta take a quick break. We'll be right back. Honestly, it's so good. Thank you. That is all the the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this show. I'd love to see you right here in our studio audience. The tickets are free. Just scan the QR code on your screen to apply. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more of The Good Stuff.